Let me guess, partner. You're young. You're around the age of 15, 14, 13, maybe even 16, 17, or 18, maybe even 87 years old. I don't know. But you want a rear-wheel drive car because you hear all these people on YouTube talking about rear-wheel drive, man. You get to do donuts, they're fun, it's cool. You want one, but your parents don't, because your parents are smart, right? They got something up here called experience, and so they don't want you to get a rear-wheel drive car because they know that you're going to probably get into trouble with a rear-wheel drive car and you're going to hurt yourself or hurt others or get yourself arrested or something really bad. But don't worry, buddy. I got you covered with 10 rear-wheel drive cars that you may be able to sneak by your parents and be like, listen, yes, it's rear-wheel drive, but it's got this and this and this going for it, so you don't gotta worry. And I hope that it works. If you have really strict parents, I'm sorry, buddy. I hear you, though. I have really strict parents. But thank you guys. But without further ado, let's get right into the list with the number 10 spot. Coming into the number 10 spot is going to the BMW 330 Ci E46. The E46 chassis right now is a very, 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 very cheap chassis that almost anybody can buy. And on top of that, they kind of look like grandma cars when you first buy them. Honestly, if you want, you could just get a 328i. They're even cheaper and they even look more like a grandma car. And so that might be able to slide by your parents. It comes with a 3-liter inline 6 making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive, of course. And that horsepower number, as long as you don't mention it to your parents, should be okay. Most parents aren't going to expect a BMW 3 Series to be some sort of race car. As long as you're not getting like an M3, they'll know that it's pretty fine. Everybody out there drives BMWs daily anyway, and you can kind of use that to your advantage. Be like, Dad, look at all the 3 Series that are driving around right now. How is it so dangerous if that guy's driving it, that guy's driving it? Because it really isn't that dangerous of a car. It's just that, again, they're rear-wheel drive, so they're going to be worried. Coming in at the number 9 spot is going to the Pontiac G8 without the V8. Okay, I know that's a bit of a bar I just said there. You might think you're listening to the little baby tell you what cars to buy, but it was still me, Mark Roden. But yeah, the V8 version is most likely not going to slide by your parents. They're not that stupid, okay? So if they see a freaking V8 powered muscle car, the second you turn that thing on, they're going to be like, yeah, no, we're not buying this. But the 3.6 liter V6 that makes 256 horsepower going to the rear wheels might be able to slide by your parents. And the reason why is because the car really doesn't look that sporty. It's kind of like the whole purpose of the G8, and same with the Chevy SS and the Cadillac CTS-V and cars like those, is that they're meant to look like sleepers. And so if you get the G8 without the V8 in it, people, they might not even notice that it is a sports car. They might not notice it has a V6 in it. They're not that loud, they're not that flashy, and you might be able to slide it right by them. Now, if you have a car guy dad or something like that, obviously you're in trouble there. But if you don't, this one is a decent option for you. Coming into the number 8 spot, however, is going to a car that it honestly shouldn't be that hard to slide by them. It's the Lexus IS250. We're talking about technically, I guess it would be called the first generation IS250, but it's the second generation of the Lexus IS. It always confuses me whenever I talk about this car, because is it the second gen? So should I call it the second gen or it's the first gen? I don't know. It's so confusing. But either way, it comes with a 2.5 liter V6 that makes 200 horsepower in its rear wheel drive. There is a lot of selling points for your parents here. First off, its 200 horsepower is not a lot. Not a lot for this car, especially since it's pretty heavy. On top of that, Lexus is pretty much Toyota. So it has a Toyota engine in it. It's going to be reliable. It's a V6. It's not turbocharged. It's not going to give you that many issues. It's reliable. It looks pretty boring to them too, so you might not even have to slide that by them. It doesn't look that like special or fast. It's once again just another luxury car, and it only makes 200 horsepower. It's really a really good option, even if it's rear-wheel drive, or you can even get the all-wheel drive option. Coming in at the number 7 spot, however, is a car that I honestly think you will have zero issues whatsoever getting by your parents. It's the Volvo 240. I mean, if you have an issue getting this car by your parents, they might just want you to ride the bicycle from now on, because there's no way that they don't like this vehicle. It is just incredible. The Volvos in general have always been really good, so honestly, if you can get any Volvo under 5K, it's a pretty decent option, but the 240 in particular is commonly regarded as one of the more safe cars ever made. It comes with a 2.4 liter inline 4. It makes only 114 horsepower in its rear wheel drive. Yes, rear wheel drive is always going to be a little bit of an issue for a new time driver parents, but hear me out, okay? It makes 114 horsepower. Volvo 240 is incredibly reliable. Look on Marketplace. Look on Marketplace and tell me how many Volvo 240s have 250,000 miles plus and are still running and driving perfectly fine. And on top of that, the Volvo 240 was praised for its safety ratings when it came out. It's incredibly safe. Coming in at the number 6 spot, however, we're going to go back to the land of BMW. I know BMW is a kind of a hard one because BMW in general is a brand that most people, especially non-car guys, will always just be like, they're unreliable because it's kind of like the stigma around BMW, but it's the BMW 3 Series E90. This is completely up to you which model you want to get. 328i is one I would recommend going for, but you can, if you get lucky, find a 335i for under 5K. And obviously, depending on what model you go for, you get varying motors and horsepower. But just like I said again with the E46, this one it's just the most basic sedan out there right now. Like, there's not, you drive down the street, you see tons of E90s every day, and the people driving them are freaking old ladies. Why? Because they aren't dangerous. They are not dangerous. You could very easily get by with an E90. Do they have reliability issues because they're a BMW? Sometimes. And so I would definitely be careful buying one and make sure that you got, you know what you're looking for. But in terms of everything else, the rear-wheel drive part of this is not going to get you in any trouble. Coming into the number 5 spot, however, is going to go to one that's going to be very difficult to get by your parents. If they're a car guy, if they're not, it should be pretty easy. It's the Chrysler 300C first generation. This is, it is just the boat on wheels. Everybody kind of like, I feel like everybody out there has like a weird love-hate relationship with the Chrysler 300. Like, we all kind of like it, but at the same time, none of us are actually going to go out and buy it. It comes with a 3.5 liter V6 making 250 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Again, if your parents are car guys and they know that these Chrysler 300s are somewhat of a cool car, and they do make decent horsepower in their boats, they're heavy, they're pretty much a muscle car stuffed in a luxury car package. But if they're not, then to them it just looks like a giant luxury car, and you could most likely very easily get away with that. There's a lot of things about this car that screams like safe to the average person. It's massive, first of all. It's got a lot of luxury in it. It's got a lot of high-tech stuff in it for its time, so they might think that that means higher safety ratings and stuff like that. And overall it really is a good car. It's just that getting it by a car guy dad is going to be an issue. Coming into the number 4 spot, however, is a car that should not be an issue whatsoever to get by a car guy dad, the Ford Crown Victoria. These cars, if you need to be like the biggest moron to not be able to persuade your parents to let you buy one of these, they are so, just everything about them, they have so much stuff going for them to just prove to your parents that they are a safe car. First of all, the motor, that's an issue. It comes with a 4.6 liter V8 that makes 235 horsepower, and it's rear-wheel drive. V8s, a lot of normal people think are automatically mean that the car is like some race car. A lot of normal people think that for some reason. I don't really understand why, but they do think that. So maybe don't mention the V8 part on it. Don't say that it has a V8. They're not going to think it does because it's a freaking big body, like luxury, like sedan thing. So they probably won't think it does come with a V8. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tell your mom and dad, you're going to be like, listen guys, if the cops use them for this long, then they're obviously good somehow. And then they're going to be like, you know what? This guy's right. He's onto something. Give him the freaking Crown Vic. He's smart. Coming in at 3rd place is, again, just like the Crown Vic, another car that should give you zero issues trying to sell it off to your parents. It's the Lexus LS400. The reason why is the LS400 is, first of all, again, very boring looking stock. These car stock are the ultimate grandpa mobiles. They do not look like anything special whatsoever, and so that alone should be able to get you by. They do come with a 4 liter V8 making 270 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. So again, with the Crown Vic, try and hide the motor from them. It shouldn't be that hard to do because, again, they're probably not going to think it has a V8 considering the car looks just so like average stock. But once you get it, I mean, it's incredible. The 1UZ under the hood is a one of the best, most reliable motors of all time. These cars can go to millions of miles. Tell your parents that. Tell them also that it's pretty much a Toyota because it's a Lexus, so it's reliable as hell. It's safe as hell. It's got a bunch of luxury in it. It's a 90s car, so they're probably going to be like, oh yeah, we like 90s cars because we're parents and we like older vehicles for some reason. And they're going to love it. They're going to love the LS400. I don't think you'll have an issue. Here you go. Coming into the 2nd position, however, is going to a car that definitely might take a little bit more persuading. It's the Infiniti G37 Sedan. Now, you cannot even find a coupe under 5K, but even if you could, I would recommend not getting any sort of coupe car under try and run that by your parents. It's just too hard. They know coupes are performance vehicles, and so just stay away from it. The G37 Sedan comes with the same thing anyway, a 3.7 liter V6 making 330 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. These cars are very good, fast cars, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. If you do manage to, succeed and get this by your parents as just a grandma car again, please be safe for my sake, because they are pretty fast and they're going to catch you off guard. The G37 Sedan is, once again, a car that kind of to most people will probably just look at as a normal sedan, just another commuter sedan. But to us, we know that under the hood it has a 370Z motor in it. They don't need to know that. You can even tell them the motor that it comes with. Oh yeah, it comes with a V6, Dad. It comes with a V6. And they probably won't even think anything of it. Just don't tell them the horsepower and you should be good. But first place, in my opinion, the easiest rear-wheel drive car to slide by your parents, and just a car in general that's a really good option for under 5K, is the Nissan Hardbody. The reason why I know that this car isn't hard to slide by your parents is because I did that. Okay, I don't have a Nissan Hardbody, but I have a dad who is a car guy. He knows a lot about cars. He loves them. And he knows that I probably shouldn't buy a rear-wheel drive car since I live in a winter area. Well, I told him I wanted a Hardbody. He had a Hardbody when he was younger, and he was like, those are an amazing car. You should absolutely buy that. They come with a 2.4-liter inline-4, making 155 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive. These are 4x4s, though, so if you do change it into 4x4 mode, you could just easily write that off to your parents and be like, well, it's a 4x4. I'll just put it in 4x4 in the winter. And you should be good. On top of that, these Hardbodies are really cool. They come with a KA in them, so it's the same motor that came in the 240SXs, which is sick nasty, bro. And I don't know, I love these little mini truck Hardbody, like the Ford Ranger Hardbodies, the old Tacomas. I love those things, man, those little mini trucks. But yeah, it should be very, very, very easy to get by your parents. It's a freaking Nissan truck from the 90s, reliable as hell, has 4x4 mode. It's safe because it's a truck. Everything else is great about it. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see. Obviously, we have, what do we have? Today is technically Thursday, but I don't think you're going to be actually seeing this video Thursday. I think we'll be seeing this video tomorrow, Friday. And so I'm so confused. I'm not going to even try and think about that with you guys. You guys aren't going to care anyway. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Love each and every one of you. Dos vidania, and have a nice night.